Welcome again to our new program. We're exploring the taboos, and we are looking at taboos from the Asian perspective. In another program, we talked about the taboos from the African perspective, but now we want to look at them from Asian perspective. Especially, this is important because we now live in Asia. IS is located in Asia, specifically in the Philippines. And so we want to see what are the taboos that are in this country or in the countries around here, and how do people deal with that, and how can we deal with that when we meet people from these countries. I want to start with a disclaimer that views expressed on this program don't reflect IS. They are only opinions of our program participants. So if you have questions or comments or suggestions, please do not send them to IS, send them to us, United in Diversity. And I'll be sharing with you the information, the email address where you can send that, your questions. So please stay with us until the end of the program. I want to welcome you to our program this afternoon. And I want you to introduce yourself by starting on that side. Tell us who you are, where you're from, and what you're doing here at IS.
My name is Liang Chuanshang from China, and I'm a PhD student in applied theology.
Welcome, Pastor Liang.
My name is Mari Torres. I'm from Japan, and I'm currently studying, taking a class, academic writing, and also I work at English Center.
Welcome, Marie.
My name is Golden Gado. I'm actually a Malaysian, but currently have been living in Thailand for 14 years. I'm currently doing my PhD in educational administration.
Welcome, Golden.
I am a Filipino. I was born in the southern part of the Philippines, but now for some 20 years, I have lived in the central Philippines at Central Philippine Adventist College. I am Emeline Joy Maglana.
Welcome, Joy.
I am Steven Ruhupati. I'm from Indonesia, the east part, east. And I'm working on PhD in business, emphasizing on finance.
Welcome, Steven. Welcome.
My name is Gandhi, a recent graduate from MAR theology side and current student in MSA. I come from a country called Sri Lanka.
Welcome. As you can see, we have quite a variety of Asian countries represented here, and I'm just excited to learn a few things about Asia because I love traveling around different countries around here in Asia. So today I get to learn what I should watch for. What are things done here at IS that are considered taboo in your culture? Let me start with Golden. Malaysia. What have you seen here? It's like, whoa, people do things like this?
I'm not sure if this is done by everybody, but I saw it a few days ago. Somebody stood up, spoke in the class, and actually slightly sat on the table. It was not actually sitting on the table, but it sometimes was leaning slightly. In Thailand, this is a no-no.
Leaning on the table or sitting on the table?
Sitting on the table.
Oh boy. I think I've gotten that wrong because I do that a lot when I'm teaching. Were you talking about me, Golden? He's like a brother to me. That's why I can easily challenge him. That is quite something that you wouldn't. Personally, I didn't know. Thank you so much. Let's go to Marie.
It's not all the time, but sometimes I see trash on the ground. And in Japan, we don't leave things behind.
People, let's clean after ourselves. Dr. Gaptil has been talking about this forever, and it still shocks me when I see something. Come on. You know, we find this place clean when we come. Let's leave it clean. It is clean because everybody was taking care of their own trash. So you open something, take care of it. And not only at IAS, but also outside, wherever we are. Let's shine with good qualities of being clean wherever we are. Thank you. Pastor Liang.
Yes, there's several taboos according to Chinese culture, but still we can see here. For example, why is, every Sabbath we have someone offering the flower in the pulpit in IS church.
Yeah.
Sometimes I saw the flower of chrysanthemum. You know, in China, the chrysanthemum only offer in the funeral service.
Oh, boy. Oh, wow. Woo. Okay.
Of course, I don't care about that, but if you have a friend or you have boyfriend or girlfriend from China, please don't send them the chrysanthemum.
Pastor Liang, thank you so much.
This is it's regarded to be mediated through the deceased person and the living one. So it is only used in a funeral service, or you will visit someone's tomb.
Anyone who's coming from outside of Asia, please stay awake for the next 35 minutes. Because I'm hearing some of the things for the first time in my life. And I thought I had been around for quite a number of countries, and I'm hearing some of the things for the first time. Since you're holding the microphone, Stephen, why don't you tell us a few things, either in Papua New Guinea, because I think you were working there, or in Indonesia. Either one. Anything you have seen here at IAS is like...
Indonesia is diverse to 33 provinces. In 7 main islands. I come from the east, working at the eastern part at Papua for the last 6 years. Now, don't let Dr. Campbell know about this. Don't tell him. You know, we used to use this long tie, and now I saw him with this butterfly, red things on his neck. And, you know, it's kind of, tickling me, you know. And I don't used to see those
Why?
things in Indonesia.
Why, Stephen? You don't want to like the bow tie?
Yeah, those things is just for party, you know, wedding party or, you know, if you have birthday party or this anniversary or marriage party, but not on pulpit. Maybe it's a party also, yeah. Sabbath party, maybe, okay. Maybe it's fine, yeah.
So bow tie is no on Sabbath in the part of the world where you came from.
Yeah, not this butterfly thing, you know. Do you?
Wow.
Yeah, I think.
You know, I'm going to tell my son, because he loves bow ties. I'm going to tell him, you know, if Stephen is at church, please do not put on any bow tie. Wonderful. Let's go to Joy.
The Philippines is probably as diverse as as IAS, no, inside IAS. And there are many things here. There are many ethnic groups. But I'm thinking of this question in the context of SDA schools. Here in the Philippines, there are still some schools, or many, basically, even higher education, which are probably you consider conservative. So when I came here, and I heard on the context of, let's say, music, it seemed like, wait. I was, what? When I was listening, because there are some musical presentations that are upbeat, that's a no-no in our school when it's upbeat. I don't mean that we have music that will make you sleep all the time. And that's also an issue. Now, actually, at this time, they are having a music, some kind of seminar there to tell our people this is the kind of music we have. But when I came here, I have to remember this is an international school. Although we have international students. And I know they are also playing some music in their own, in their own rooms. And also Filipinos too may have, if you go around, you can hear, no? But within the sphere of our school, it seems like if you play this one, or let's say in a public place like this, somebody would come and say, oh, that's not good. That's not allowed. So it seemed like, and with my roommate also now here, she also comes from a higher educational institution here in the Philippines. She would say, sometimes it just shuts me off I try to listen to the words, to the lyrics, not to the beat of the music, but it shuts me off. Maybe we are just, sometimes we say, maybe we are just conservative or too conservative. Sometimes we say that one.
Wow, it's that one is another topic that is very, very, very hard.
Yeah,
I hope someday we can address it. It's actually on the list of topics I want us to address. Where we'll address music and the movies and things like that. I hope you'll be able to watch that or be around when we discuss that.
Yeah, but actually here I don't feel like really don't. It's not a don't really for me when I come.
Because we have all the earlier days of our United Diversity, we used to have music from different parts of the world. It was a diversity that is like, okay, you know, that one I wouldn't like that. Oh, that one I would like. Oh, this is good. This is so unique. This is original. This is too much. This is too less. And it's only after I saw that diversity that I started saying, okay, what is really acceptable and what is not. But someday we shall discuss the music and see what can we accept and what should not be acceptable. Let's go to Sir Gandhi.
Yes, using the left hand is a little bit different way of doing from our culture. Most of the time we use right hand and we use left hand only for sanitary purposes. So when we use left hand to serve others, that is serving like sanitary servicing or just a little bit low graded or not giving respect. The other side, hugging and shaking hands. That's also given a different way of view where I come from. We don't hug each other, especially men and women, or not shaking hands. We use our both hands. We come from a Buddhist Hindu culture saying like something in this position, saying a very, very respectful way. The other side, and wearing shoe inside the house when a visitor comes that we discussed before. One belief is that why we are doing that to keep the dust away and keep the house clean and germs. The other belief that I particularly come from a Hindu belief that believes giving an idea that when we come to the house with our shoes, we bring evil spirits inside the house, roaming around the world and collecting the spirit and come. So if the doctor come inside, doctoral evil spirit, and if master comes, master students come, that is level of evil spirit I am thinking. So we don't really we just feel really, really in a different way. When I come to IS, that's all changed.
Wow. So it's not just about, hey, that's how we like it. Actually, there is a whole story behind this practice. The next question will go to Pastor Liang, Golden, and Stephen. How have you effectively dealt with taboo issues you have seen here at IS or in the Philippines when you're outside of IS?
Yes, according to Chinese culture, most of the taboos related to the life and death or related to money. This is the biggest two kinds of taboos we have. For example, in my home, in my house, sometimes my daughter, when he eat the lunch or dinner, we use the chopstick. But for the children, they don't know. They will sometimes put the chopstick inside the rice and erect the chopstick. In China, it's also related to some death problem. For example, if some family member passed away, they will use burn the incense, put on a bowl of rice and put the picture of this person and burn the incense. So it is a very serious taboo. When my daughter do this, we just say, you cannot do that. And she will ask, why? So the explanation itself is a taboo.
The explanation of a taboo is a taboo.
Yes, that's right.
Very good.
We cannot explain this to her. Just tell her you cannot do that. And gradually, she understands. I can never put the chopstick on the rice and erect this. So never. But of course, we don't believe any evil power in this action. We don't believe that, but it is already become a cultural, become our custom. We don't do that. Yeah, not because we believe some evil spirit or not.
Wow, interesting, interesting. And I think we're going to come back to that one when we have the third session of what we're discussing about today. You know, how do we deal with this as Christians? So we just stick around and we'll have some more information on that later on. Golden?
Going back to the example I gave, since that happened here in Ayas, not in Thailand, I just ignore it. But had it been in Thailand and it is done by somebody who didn't know the culture, I think I would give a cue.
So what kind of cue will that be? It's like...
I think the Holy Spirit will tell me.
Wonderful.
Right now I can't.
Wonderful. Spiritually correct message or religiously one. Okay, yes.
Yeah, just recently I
know you just came.
Yeah, I just
And I'm
arrived.
sure you have seen already a few things, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's actually easier to see things when you're still new.
Yeah, and I'm so happy to be here. You know, I'm just smiling. It's just kind of ear-to-ear smiles. Yeah. And then I was, walking the sidewalk, and I saw somebody coming, and I'm smiling at him, And, when he gets near, he's not smiling at me. But I keep on smiling, and he's not smiling. So I stopped smiling. Maybe he's happy with me for not smiling, but that's some kind of things that, I come from a background that likes to smile, and I met somebody that maybe is not smiling. I don't know, maybe something's happening with him. But that's some kind that I try to understand that, okay, this is the kind of life that I'm going to face at Ayas in this coming 3 or 4 years.
Oh, no.
So I want everybody to know that if you meet me, just smile. I like
Yes,
smile.
please. Everybody, please smile. Just smile. Not only when you meet him, but everywhere you are, please smile and make it real. Not the smile where it's a split second and then it's gone. Real smile. And I think you have that positive. I don't know about you with Stephen. I just noticed him the first day he came to my class. I think in my class was the first one you entered on this campus, right? The first thing I noticed about him was smile. And ever since, you see him, it's just smile. And so everywhere he is, there's happiness. So if you feel stressed, you feel sad, you feel depressed, just look for, you need to give people your apartment number later, and not on TV, not on live TV. But if you're depressed, just go see Stephen. I know we may come from cultures where you should not smile if you're in a position and so on, but smile will definitely do a good thing. Let's go to the next question because we still have many. And this question will be answered. We'll start with Marie, and then Joy, and then Gandhi. As you reflect at the taboos in your culture of origin, what do you think your people should change? And why? Let's start with you.
Okay, I think this is a very, very serious problem right now in Japan. The big taboo is people can, for example, if you work at the office and even it's the time, already scheduled time, like 4 p.m., people cannot leave the office because they feel the pressure because other colleagues are still working, especially if your boss is still working. And then you are not supposed to leave the office.
Even if it's time to go home?
Yes, it's a big issue now. And actually, and also the Japan is a very submissive culture. So whenever you feel, okay, everybody's staying, so I should stay too. And a lot of times they work until 10, 11, and actually a lot of people die because of overtime working, and also a lot of people commit suicide too. So that's the thing I really, really believe that they should change. And actually government is trying to change now, but the companies, they don't want to accept.
Will something happen to you if you left before the boss? Can you lose your job or your salary? Can I have an increase? Is there really a practical impact on you if you left early?
That's the thing. I'm not typical Japanese. And
Yeah. No, I mean, not
I
you. I
understand.
mean, a typical
no, I understand.
Japanese.
I'm trying to say is, I left the office on the scheduled time,
Okay.
and I didn't have any problem. And probably people rumor, why is she leaving? But basically, I don't feel I was doing wrong.
Yeah.
But a lot of Japanese people don't think that way. I don't think that the companies are going to fire you immediately. But still, they feel like they struggle. Oh, maybe next day they will look at me in a different way. Peer pressure and a submissive culture.
You know, it's better to work here at IS. You know, now that you're working in the English Center, just stay there. You don't have to worry about it. Because I know Dr. Dolph is one of the people who leave the last people from the building. So if we had to wait for him, I'm sure many of us would have left IS a long time ago. Thank you so much for sharing that. Let's go to Joy.
Here in the Philippines, many of our taboos are built on beliefs. Okay, and there was this one, especially during wake or burial, not so much probably with the Adventists, but if your relative is not an Adventist, when my grandmother died, her family, or many of her family, are not Adventists. She was the only one, actually, my grandmother in the family. And so the wake was there. Usually we have wakes, like it will take 1 week, okay, things like that. And there was this aunt who was doing many things for the sake of my mother. My mother is the only, let's say, one left in the family. So there was this aunt doing almost everything. She had many beliefs. So when I arrived to the place, my mama said, please keep your mouth shut. Do not lecture anything. She was telling me that because my aunt was saying the candles should be here. It should be burning all the time so that it would make the spirit of your grandma happy, things like that. There was this brownout. And we were not using candles basically because there was that lamp, electric was that. And she came running. She was running very fast. And she said, where are the candles? Where are the candles? So I said, to us, it doesn't matter. It didn't matter. To me, it didn't matter. It was only that time when she said, this should be burning here. And so she was lecturing me, don't ever forget to light up the candles so that your grandma, the soul of your grandma would be. So my mother was saying, keep your mouth shut. Because she knew that I might not be sensitive to the family. So, and there are many things. You cannot wear this one. You cannot wear this. Things like that. You cannot wear red or just something like a little red on. In your clothes during the wake and after the wake, 7 days or some days after the wake. So when I went back to our place, I had a classmate who was also not an Adventist. And I had a blouse. I did not care because I had a blouse which has a ribbon, little red ribbon in here. So your grandma just died. Why did you wear that? So I said, I could not give any reason because she said, oh, are you really happy your grandma died? So it's something like that. So how we can deal with this issue is that I had this lesson during the wake of my grandmother. All the Adventists come to give us, like what we do, to give a service or to give, let's say, a little sermon. There was also this uncle who was there, but he was drunk, listening. After the brethren went out, he was there sitting, and he was lecturing the aunt there. So you see, the Bible says, but he was drunk. The Bible says he was telling some text. I did not know. It was only after he went out. My mother said he knew some of our beliefs, and he was telling text after text of the state of the dead. So he was the one lecturing my grandma about the Bible and was these things like this. So I said, oh Lord, thank you for the drunk person. Thank you for the drunk uncle who was lecturing this one. And then my aunt said, is that in the Bible? Is that in the... Yes. I was saying, yeah, let's try to see in the Bible. So I was telling my aunt like that. So it's a way, probably us now, for us Adventists, it's a way of telling other people. We usually tell about the state of the dead. This is a sensitive issue, but in a way that it will not also hurt others. And I know some people who wear interested to the Adventist faith because of, can you imagine, because of the wake, during our wake, and they knew about what we believe, and they began to see what the Bible is saying. And there are so many superstitions about these things. So it's a way of dealing.
So basically, you want to see these things changed because they are not really biblically sound. Let's go to Gandhi.
Yes, as I notice here, there are several things that I need to adapt and change, especially in the wearing shoes inside. Then we decided, okay, maybe people have different thoughts and different views. We need to observe and learn from them. We change ourselves. Okay, when we go to others' house, we will remove as we practice. But when they come to our house, we will welcome more than what we are expecting now, what they wanted to be, what they may happy, what they are doing in our house. Number one. Number two, I was thinking 8 years ago on our wedding day, the missionary couples from foreign country, they were asking us during the wedding, they asked us to, okay, now time to kiss, right? The part, you know that part, the wedding. The problem is kissing in my culture, in my wife's culture. So I am holding my wife's hand here, and they asked me to kiss. Then I was looking at her, she is looking at me, then we smiled each other. It's happened. It's really happened. Then again the pastor was asking, right, it's time to kiss. You can kiss. You may kiss your wife now. Then I was also calling them. We said no. That's I still remember. When I come to Aya's, I saw the weddings ceremony. Wow, that's a different feeling. That now I can't do anymore because I already got married. I cannot go back. No, publicly we cannot express enough.
When you reach 25, you can have a renewal of vows, and then you can, this time when you ask, you can. Okay, what things are you doing here at IS today that you wouldn't do in your culture? I'm going to ask the first three on that side to address that question. Pastor Liang, and then Marie, and then Golden. Yeah. What is it here at IS today that you're doing that you wouldn't do in your culture?
Not necessarily I'm doing, but I may do that. But I will not do it in my culture. Because many taboos in China, they come from the same or similar pronunciation of some bad things. For example, we like the number 8 because it is good fortune, the similar pronunciation. We don't like the number 4 because it's related to death. So it is a similar pronunciation that causes some taboo. For example, in my local place in Wenzhou, the Wenzhou dialect, if we visit someone in the hospital, we cannot give this person the apple. Because in Wenzhou dialect, the apple is the same pronunciation with the die of the disease. So, but in IS, I may do that because people have no this kind of mindset, so now have this kind of language and knowledge. So I may do that if one day I visit someone, I will say give them the apple. Or in China, we don't give someone the clock. The clock means...
As a gift?
Yeah, as a gift. The clock means, if I give the clock to someone, means I will attend your funeral. Because of the pronunciation, it's very exactly the same. Exactly the same pronunciation. And also, you may give your, for example, boy or boyfriend or girlfriend the clothes, the hat or whatever, but don't give the shoes. Why? Because if you give him or her the shoes, she or he will run away.
Why? That's what they believe.
Yeah,
that if you give a gift of shoes,
yes,
chances are you're going to split.
The function of the shoes is for running.
Wow, amazing. Okay, let's go to Marie.
Okay, I think I wouldn't take off I wouldn't leave my shoes on when inside of the house. No, I mean, I will take off my shoes, right? In Japan, we all take off our shoes.
So what is this something that you are doing here
Yes.
that you wouldn't do in Japan?
Yes, in Japan, I always take off my shoes. But here, I often wear my shoes in the house. And when I visit other people's houses, and then they say, "Oh, don't worry, leave your shoes on." So that's the thing. And also another thing is, I like to greet people, and I do a lot. It doesn't matter adults or children, but when I do that in Japan, they look at me like, "Who are you?" And especially the children here, they're so sweet and they hug me. They call me auntie, even they don't know me well. But in Japan, if I hug the children, and they're like, "Whoa!" So I wouldn't do that in Japan.
It looks like you should definitely stay at IAS. Let's go to Golden.
Probably two things I can mention. I feel free to point at anybody with my index finger because I see people doing it here. Not in Thailand. I have to go like that. Even among the Malays in Malaysia, it's usually like
You know,
this.
I didn't notice that in Malaysia. I didn't notice that in Thailand. Now, the next time I go, I will be observing. So say, you please stand up.
Yes.
So what would you say when you tell somebody, you know, please stand up? But you say, student, please.
You point like this, but not with your.
Wow.
In Thailand,
How many of us in the audience knew this? I'm sure you have. Maybe you have lived there. The rest of you, I'm sure you have been pointing at Malaysian people and the Thai people, and we have all offended somebody somewhere. If you've been here for 1 year, chances are you have offended somebody. It doesn't matter where you come from. At least from what we have heard today, we have offended somebody somehow.
and a cousin of that is you call somebody and you say, I see a lot of Western. Yeah. No. Don't do that in Thailand if you want to live nicely with them.
Or
if you want to live longer there,
or if you want to live,
Thailand
period. You know, there is this one and this one and
yes.
this one and all kinds of signs.
You go to that person. You call, actually.
So you cannot call somebody from distance. You will really have to.
You can call by names, but not like this.
Yeah, definitely not.
No. Another one is, and I have a problem with this. I'm happy that I am in IAS. Something falls down, and don't use your leg to move it. I have that problem because of my tummy. And I have to stoop and take it. Never with my foot.
I know somebody at this program here, I was told I should not have my leg on top of the other, and I keep forgetting because it makes me just so comfortable to do that. I don't know, do they have that too? That in the public we should not?
Yes.
It should
you
be.
Should not lift. This is the issue.
Oh, the issue is there.
Yes.
You should not show the
pointing
soul.
You're pointing
Oh,
somebody
it's
already.
about the pointing, because in the Middle East, in some parts of the Middle East, it's the sole of your foot that is just as dirty as the left hand in India and Sri Lanka.
I might want to mention one more. When you're in the presence of royal families, make sure, for ladies, make sure your shoes are closed. I'm sorry, you in the presence of a royal family in Thailand, you can't.
You will not.
She will not.
That will be your last day.
Yes.
Wow. Amazing. Let's go to the next question. There's just too much to chew on here. Too much. And thank you so much, our Asian friends. Thank you so much for educating us. Because we have the tendency to take this for granted. Everybody looks at things from their own perspective. Why are you shouting? Or why are you so quiet? Why do you smile so much? Why are you so much frowning? And so I think this is very, 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 very important. Let's go to the next question. Can you tell me of a taboo that seems to be accepted by people here at IS? It is still taboo for you from where you come from. I know you shared with us the music, but can you share something else? And we'll ask Stephen and then Gandhi after that.
Not caring what other people, how other people dress, because maybe we can say we come from a little conservative. But I think we should be balanced, because you see, I grew up in the academy, and was this, in the academy we can just dress, but there are still, when you go out of the dorm, there are still some things that you have to follow. But the thing is, sometimes if a person is too conservative, just like, for example, my kids, they don't grow up in the academy, so they just grow up in that kind of environment. So when we tell them, can you please get something or borrow something from the neighbor? We do that one, borrowing something from the neighbor. Just little things like, can you buy something from the store? It will take for them a long time to look for it when they are wearing shorts, and not really very short, but sometimes here in the Philippines we have some shorts we call puruntong, something like, they won't go out. You cannot tell them to go out because, Mama, please, let's say, just wait for, it will take some minutes for girls. I have girls to just change clothes, things like that. But to me, and sometimes I grew up in the dorm, and we can just go from room to room with let's say, spaghetti, something like that. All girls. But in the house, they were amazed. Mama, you're wearing that? And so I said, oh my, they have a different culture now from me, things like that. And we are all girls only. My husband is the boy in the house, so sometimes I just dress something like that. So I'm trying to teach them we should be balanced, not to really to be affected by many things that you cannot do anything, let's say, just for a spur of the moment. You cannot just rush things because you have to do things yet. Mm-hmm. Okay, so sometimes we get agitated. Why do you have to do that? In my time, something like that, during my time. So I have to remember, oh my, they grew up in this kind of, was this, and another sometimes it's just the opposite. Nice. So I just want to teach some kind of balance, not too much also, because in our school, if a lady goes around with spaghetti and shorts, people would look at you. Oh, what's happening? What's happening here?
So although, here at IAS, basically everybody minds their own clothing, their dressing. So, and I think part of this, at least if I link it to what you were talking about, part of it is that we are dealing with adult learners. They are adults. They know already what is wrong from what is right from wrong. And we have the tendency to give them a little bit more freedom than the freedom we'll give to elementary and high school students who still need guidance. Somebody who gets to do a master's degree and a doctoral degree, and they don't get things together, chances are, even if we lecture the whole night, they may not change much. Let's go to Stephen.
Yeah, as I mentioned before, that Indonesia is diverse to 33 islands. So, referring to what Pastor Dance is saying, that he likes, hugging and kissing, you better be careful when it comes to Indonesia. Because some parts are used to it, but some parts, man, you don't do it here. Or clothing. Okay, in some parts of the province, yes, they are used with this culture, new things, with this tourism, everything. But in some part of Indonesia, you have to be careful, because when you use this wrong attire at school or at church, then you're in problem. Somebody will actually call on you? Yeah, and they will just say, hey, you're not doing this right. Wow. Except, especially when you're in a church. In some other countries, they are used with these short pants. But, when you come to some parts of Indonesia, then you don't use these short pants.
So you are your brother's keeper, if I may say. Let's go to Sir Gandhi.
Yes, one of the things I noticed, there back home, we don't wear shoes when we go to temple, when we go to the church. This IAS church is open. They allow with the shoes. And sometimes I notice my wife, when she come to the church, even she remove her shoes and she observe the worship. But I'm telling that we have more freedom. And the second thing is, in my culture, the taboo consider, if you put the overlapping leg in front of the elders over there, here, that is a great offense. So here in IS, I noticed that they are not offending anybody. They are still loving and caring people. They show their respect and love in a different way. This is not the time to point on this kind of taboos for me. I positively changed my mind.
Wow. I will try to keep my feet down. That's a struggle because, as you grow older, sometimes you need to make yourself a little bit comfortable. The bones are sticking. All right. Let's go to the last question. And I'm giving you about 30 seconds each. We're going to start with Pastor Liang. How should we react to someone who believes in taboos or things that we don't believe in? 30 seconds. I want everybody to give us, this will be our closing statement. 30 seconds, 45 seconds max.
Yes, I think in many cases, the basic assumption behind this taboo is they believe some supernatural power. If we do these things, this kind of power will do harm to us. But since we believe in God, we don't care about whether it will do harm. Of course, it will not. So, since God created every man in equal, so we need to respect them. Either we do it or not do it, it will not harm us. We just respect the local culture as long as it will not affect our biblical principle of our life.
Thank you so much. Marie?
Yes, first of all, I usually observe them. And then if it's very, very uncomfortable for me, very nicely, and I talk, then maybe that person will understand where I'm coming from too. And then we'll have better relationship. And then if it's not like Pastor said, Pastor? Oh, yes. As long as it's not, as long as it doesn't bother us because of the biblical aspect and biblical principles, and then it's okay. If it's something and we cannot compromise, and then we have to talk to the person very nicely.
Thank you so much, Golden.
I think taboos are not worth our relationship. What you believe doesn't affect what I believe. Of course, if what somebody does puts that person in a dangerous position, then I think I have the responsibility to tell.
Thank you so much, Joy.
Many of us Filipinos, I guess, would believe in this. We are sensitive. And so I always have that word sensitivity to what others was that. Although I had been in some cases quite insensitive because there was a time here we were doing things in, for cohorts we rush things up and we do things like, and there was a time all of us were in the classroom, it was already 10 o'clock or 11 something. We Filipinos are quite noisy. And sometimes to relax ourselves, we stand and we sing or we just say things like, for us to laugh, to relax for some time, and then we go back to our work. Oh my, there is this one person, from other countries who cannot do that one, who could not do that one. For them, they keep quiet to relax. They get quiet in the corner to relax. And we made a lot of noise. They were not relaxed anymore. So that opened up my mind to be sensitive, to people's these beliefs or practices.
That's a good advice. Yes, Steven.
Okay, during my elementary, I was studying at TUC, now AUP, and I have this book titled Understanding Ethiopia. By that book, it gives me an understanding how to adjust yourself with somebody. It's not about how someone will adjust themselves to you, but how can I can adjust myself to a friend, which have a different perspective about doing things.
Thank you so much, Sir Gandhi.
I always put different views in that situation. I just thought about what if Jesus in my position, how he's going to deal with this. So therefore, I put myself, if Jesus with me or in my position, how he is going to connect the person from outside. So therefore, I said to myself, first I would find them on their ground, and therefore that's a great opportunity to me to find the common ground. So if I find the common ground, there will be more relationship. So for me, the opportunity, then I will open my mind.
Thank you so much. I hope we have all enjoyed the inputs from Asia, and I encourage each one of us to dig deeper, do our research online, and explore different cultures and taboos and how to deal with these issues. And I want to thank also those who are watching us online or on videos. Thank you so much for spending some time to listen to this presentation. Until we meet again next time, we encourage you to remain united in diversity. If you have questions, please send them to us on united@is.edu. Thank you. Let's put our hands together for them.